this lesson, you will operate the Onboard Data Load function, or ODLF, to do several software and data loading tasks. You will operate the maintenance laptop to do a data load and identify when the load is complete. You will operate the maintenance laptop to do a batch data load to similar components in a system. And you will identify non-normal data load indications. In this module, you will use the ODLF to load software to a component on the Airplane Common Data Network. Your task is to update the software to the flight control module in the left flight control electronics cabinet. The maintenance laptop is connected to the airplane flight deck Ethernet jack. The MCDF taskbar shows ground test switch position and the connection status. To operate the ODLF on the laptop, the ground test selector switch must be in Data Load Enable. Enable the ODLF. This is the ground test selector switch. Continue. Good. The MCDF shows the ground test switch position is Data Load Enable. The status message Maintenance Enable shows on the status page. The ground test selector switch is in the Data Load Enable position. Go to the Onboard Data Load function. The Airplane Functions window shows. Continue. The ODLF display shows and is available to only one user at a time. You can select and start up to 4 data loads at the same time. The ODLF display has windows and selections. The highlighted areas have more data. Move the cursor over an area or select the green arrow to continue. You need to load software to the flight control module in the left flight control electronics cabinet. Select the destination for the data load. Use the side scroll bar to show ATA 27 for flight controls. Continue. Scroll and select ATA 27 flight control module. When you select the destination, the Select Part Number list box changes to show only software part numbers for the selected ATA. Select the software part number for the FCM. Look at the software part number in the maintenance task. Select HNP 5. Good. When you select the software part number, the Select Destination list box changes to show components for the selected software part number. Select the left FCM. Now add the left FCM as the destination for the load. Good. Now add the software part number for the component. Select Add Part Number. OK. The destination component and the software part number show ready. Now start the software load. The data load display shows conditions necessary for a software load. The airplane is in the correct configuration. Continue. The data load display shows a difference between the software part numbers for the FCMs. You know this new software part number is correct. Continue. The software load is in progress. Load status shows % complete. To stop a single component or software part number load, select the item, then stop. You select Stop All to stop all data loads. The software load is complete. Exit the ODLF. This allows another person to do a data load. Good. You completed the data load task for the left FCM and exited the ODLF to allow another user to do a software load. In this module, you will use the ODLF to load software to several components at one time. The task is to load a software part to the left Common Computing Resource, or CCR cabinet. The maintenance laptop is connected through the Ethernet jack in the flight deck. The ground test selector switch is in the data load enable position and the ODLF is ready. Do the batch data load for the components in the left CCR cabinet. The Select a Part Number window shows the loadable software airplane parts, or LSAPs, on the Core Network File Server module that can be loaded to a system or component. Show only the batch files. Select Show Only Batch Files. Good. You show only the batch files on the File Server module. Select the batch file software part number for the maintenance task. When you select the batch file, the Select a Load Destination window goes blank. Now add the batch file to the Load List window. When you add the batch file to the Load List window, the ODLF screen first shows this message: Add the batch file for the data load. The Load List window shows the line replaceable units and the software that will be loaded for the left CCR cabinet batch file data load. Start the data load. The airplane is in the correct configuration for the data load. Continue. The data load is in progress. You use the scroll bar to see the load status of the other components if they are not in view. The software load is complete for the left CCR cabinet. You have completed the software load task. Exit the ODLF. Good. You completed the software load task for the left CCR cabinet and exited the ODLF. In this module, you will use the ODLF to load software and identify non-normal data load indications. You will load software to the Air Data Modules, or ADMs. The maintenance laptop is connected through the Ethernet jack in the flight deck. The ground test selector switch is in the data load enable position, and the ODLF is ready. The ODLF is in use by a technician in the Aft Equipment Center. You must wait until the other technician exits the ODLF. Go back to the Airplane Functions window. Good. You are back to the main Airplane Functions window on the maintenance laptop. You must wait for the other user to exit the ODLF. Okay. The other technician has exited the ODLF. Load the software to the ADMs. The ODLF shows the software part numbers on the File Server module. Select the software part number to load the ADMs. The ADMs for the software load show. Add all of the ADMs to load. The ADMs show in the Load List window. Now add the software part number. Good. Start the software load for the ADMs. The airplane is in the correct configuration. Continue. The data load failed. The circuit breakers for the ADMs have been opened to prevent pitot heat logic while another task is done in the hangar. You must have the next shift do this task. Exit the ODLF. Continue. Good. You stopped and exited the ODLF. The Air Data Module's software will be done next shift. You should be able to operate the ODLF on the maintenance laptop. You should know how to navigate, initiate, and perform data loads. You should be able to identify data loading results. You should be able to do a data load to a single component and identify when the load is complete on the ODLF. You should be able to do a batch data load to similar components. And you should be able to identify non-normal data load indications.